think you should.
What's up guys, welcome back to another video on the Securious channel, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you a new and improved AFK gold grinder that will get you a gold block every single time. Now let's get right into this video. Alright guys, so if you saw my last video on the AFK grinder, you would notice a few flaws in it. So the first one being you're only getting about 30 gold every single time. But it is AFK, so it is worth it if you're gonna like leave it overnight for lots of gold. And the second one is you're not actually getting a golden block every single time. So if you're trying to stack up those golden blocks, you're gonna have to do it the old-fashioned way by going through each stage every single time. Now, this gold grinder that I'm gonna show you in this video fixes both of those problems. Alright guys, so the first thing you need to build is this thing that I showed you in my last video. If you don't know how to build this, just go ahead and watch my last AFK grinder video and it shows you exactly how to make this. And guys, the last thing I'm going to say before I start the tutorial is I'm going to be doing this using only 4 portals. And you can get those 4 portals by watching my last video on how to get them. Let's get into the tutorial. Alright guys, so the first thing you're going to need to do is grab any block that you have the most of. So you're going to want like maybe 1,000 to 2,000 of this block. And if you don't have that much, I will show you a solution just in a second right here. But the first thing you're going to do, no matter how much blocks you have, is you're going to go like a little bit in front of that portal there and over here, and you're just going to place your block just like that. Okay, now you're going to want to press this plus sign right next to the search button to open up this menu. Now what you're going to need to do is set merging level down to red. Alright guys, the next thing you're going to need to do is place another block on top of it just like that. Grab your scale tool. If you don't have scale tool, use my other AFK grinder until you have enough money to buy scale tool. Anyways, back to the video. Grab your scale tool. Scale this all the way out to the water. Just like that guys. Now you're going to want to make it a little bit wider. That looks pretty good. Now for those of you that don't have that much of your block, what you're going to do is you're just going to scale it down and you're going to get like so much more blocks. And you can even set your scale to like 0.2 and scale it super far down, and you're going to get a ton of your blocks back. But for me, I have enough of this block, so I'm just going to scale it back up. Alright guys, so the next thing you're going to need to do is actually build walls on this thing. Place a block like that, and grab your scale tool. And scale it all the way out to the water. Now you're just going to need to scale this up a little bit so you don't actually fall off the platform. Alright guys, now do the same thing on the other side. Alright guys, once you have something that looks like this, what you can do is delete this block that's holding it up. And now what you're going to need to do is grab this tool right here and select all of this, just like that. Now guys, if you are actually on mobile like I am and you don't know how to do that selection box, I will make an entire video dedicated to that if you need that. Just let me know in the comments. Alright guys, now you're going to need to paste this over like this. Also, if you don't have this tool, you can just rebuild it if you want. It's not important to have this tool. Alright guys, the next thing you're going to need to do is search for your jets. And I know most of you are only going to have 3, so you're going to place 1 right there. And then you're going to come over here and place the other 2 on this one. Looks about right. Now guys, this is where your 4 portals comes in. So you're going to go over here and you're going to get your portals. Alright guys, as you can see I actually have 13, but I'm only going to be using 4 in this video. When placing these portals, you don't want to place them directly on the edge of the platform, because if you do, you will spawn behind the portal and you'll land in the water. So don't do that guys. Now you need to actually place a portal at the end like that. Make sure collision is turned off. Now guys, color this portal whatever color you can remember. I'm just going to color it that orange that's at the very left side of the color pad. Now guys, you're going to come over here with your last portal and place it right there. Make sure to leave some space behind it. And now you're going to color this that same color that you made the one down there. Now make sure collision is turned off. Alright guys, now that you've actually used all 4 of your portals, go over here and place your pilot seat down. And I recommend disconnecting this pilot seat from both of the wheels on this thing right here. It doesn't matter if you leave it connected to those jets because they will be anchored. Now guys, the last step is to actually come over here and grab your block. Now guys, place 2 of these blocks on top of each other. Make sure merging level is set to red and grab the top one. Scale it out just a little bit. That should be good. And now make it a little bit wider. And guys, remember, for those of you that don't have that much of your block, you can actually scale it down to use less materials. Now guys, I'm going to create the walls on this. If your block won't place in the right spot, you can change your move to 0.5. Now guys, you just need to finish these walls, and I'm actually going to use this tool to duplicate to the other side. If you don't have this tool, you can just rebuild it. Now you need to build the top. Alright guys, just like that, we have a little box here. Now you can actually just delete the bottom right there. Alright guys, so that's it for the setting up. You can actually save your build now. Alright guys, so this part of the tutorial is for those of you that actually have more than 4 portals and more than 3 jets. So for those of you that have more than 4 portals, you only need 6 to completely set this thing up. So what you can do is grab your portal and place it at the end of this. Make sure collision is turned off. And paint it a different color that you can remember. I'm going to paint mine this neon green. And then you can actually place your last portal inside this thing. And you can actually click on the wall of that to get it to go directly in the middle. And I know this isn't directly in the middle, but it'll work good enough. Just make sure you turn collision off. Now the next step is to color it the same thing that you made that last portal down there. I made mine neon green, so I did the same thing. Now if you have more than 3 jets, you can actually grab your jets. If you'll actually have 3 more, you're going to place all 3 of them right here. Alright guys, now for the setting up process. Your thing should look like this, unless you had the extra materials that I just talked about. But now make sure you guys save your build. Okay. Now guys, what you're going to need to do is sit in this chair, grab your screwdriver, and select everything that you're sitting in here. Again guys, if you don't know how to do the selection box, just let me know down in the comments, and if I'm not sleeping, I'll have a video up in the next hour. Alright guys, now what you're going to need to do is just turn anchor off and start your jet. Now guys, you're actually going to fly this into the first stage. Alright guys, once you get this thing into the first stage, you're actually going to anchor it off. And also guys, make sure it's somewhat in the middle, because if it's close to the walls while it's anchored, the game actually will break your thing. Now you guys can delete the jet and delete the chair. And as you can see, it was turned into a conveyor and it teleported me back here. Alright guys, now the next step is to actually take this thing into the stages. So before you do that, you're actually going to need to place a portal down here. Now, before you say anything about not having enough portals, you actually get your portals back that you put in the stages because they're past the barrier. You can see guys, if I search portal, as you can see I have 12, and before I only had 10. Guys, as you can see I only have 2 portals placed, so this will be the 3rd. Just like that. Now you're going to make sure collision is turned off. Now you're going to actually take your paintbrush and make sure you paint this a different color that you can remember. I'm going to paint mine this neon green color. Now guys, you're actually going to come back here to this box you made earlier. And now you're going to actually take your last portal and you're going to place it somewhat in the middle. As you can see, it's kind of lined up in the middle. It's not It's not in the middle going left to right, but that doesn't matter. If you guys actually have this moving tool, you can actually center your portal up a little more. But if you guys don't have that, you do not need it. It's not necessary at all. Now guys, grab your paintbrush tool and paint it the same color as the one you just painted down there. Now I painted mine this neon green color, so I'm going to paint this one the same. Now guys, you need to come back over here and place your pilot seat down on top of this, because you actually got it back since you put it into the stages. Now again guys, I recommend disconnecting it from these wheels. Now guys, the same thing we did on the other one, you need to select all this and turn anchor off. Now you can start the jets. Now guys, you're actually going to need to unequip your screwdriver tool and click one of these jets to turn them off. Now you're going to need to take this jet all the way to the last stage, which is the lighthouse stage. Now guys, as you can see, that is the UFO stage down there, and you do not want to get close to the UFOs because they are completely wiped out. Now guys, since I'm like getting pretty close, I'm going to turn my other jet on just to ensure that I make it all the way. Guys, one thing I forgot to mention is you're actually going to need to reselect. Alright guys, I finally got this thing in here and anchored, so make sure you anchor it once you get it in here. Now you can actually delete both of these jets and then delete your chair. Alright guys, so this step right here is actually going to be the hardest step, but it is very important for getting the gold block and getting the most gold you possibly can. So you guys are going to get your jets, and you will have all three of them back. So you're going to place all three on this thing right here. Alright guys, now what you need to do is get your seat and place it on top of that. Now one last time, I recommend unconnecting it from these wheels. Alright guys, now make sure your portal is collision off. Mine is. Now guys, you're going to select all this and turn anchor off. Now start your jets. Now guys, unequip your screwdriver tool and turn 2 of these jets off. Alright guys, now that I'm actually pretty close to the end, I'm actually going to activate my second jet. As you can see, my first jet just deactivated. Alright guys, so I finally got it set up in front of the chest, so now let me just set this part up. Oops. Alright guys, I got it reloaded, and this time I'm going to remember to set the wheel torque to green and set the wheel speed on this one down here to 5. Alright guys, now I'm going to start it up. Now as you guys see, it's taking us through just like that. We're going right through with some speed actually. And just like that guys, we actually land directly in front of the chest and it gives us the gold. Now the reason you guys actually want to land directly in front of the chest and not on top of the chest, especially in like public servers for you guys, is actually when other people are actually going through the stages, if they reach the chest before you and the chest is open while you land on the chest, it will actually push you behind the chest, and you actually will not receive the rewards unless you are in front or on top of the chest. So that is why you guys actually need to spawn in front of the chest and not on top of it. Anyways guys, as you can see, we're getting 111 gold every single time, and it's going actually really quickly, and we are also getting a gold block every single time. Now guys, if you notice in the bottom right corner, my gold has suddenly jumped up to 147,000. Now this was actually from using this AFK gold grinder. And also guys, what's even more insane is if I actually go into my blocks here, you'll notice that I have 1,658 golden blocks. and in the last video I had around 200. So that is pretty crazy, guys. And the amount of speed it does this with, this might be the best gold grinder ever created in this game. Also, guys, I'm pretty sure I created this design all by myself, but if there are other people out there that actually came up with this design before I did, then I'm sorry, I did not know, and I will give credit in the description if you give me proof. Anyways, guys, that's going to be it for today's video. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.